Good evening and welcome to 40 Corner TV. I'm Sparks. I've got lots of sounds going off in my ears at the minute, so I'm a bit confused. I'm going to shut them up. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. If you're in here, please make sure you're hitting the likes and the subscribe. Drop the comments in the chat box or the comment section underneath, and we'll respond to your comments as we go. We've got Mark. He's a regular on the channel. How are we, Mark?
All good, all good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm still recovering, to be honest.
Yeah. Yes. Bit of unexpected news last night that I think took us all by surprise.
Yeah, I think
surprise, obviously.
Absolutely. It's always nice to get a nice surprise. Obviously, after we get the Havertz injury news. And followed by that, I mean the Arsenal kind of train has the fans on strings, really does. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I was quite depressed yesterday.
More a roller coaster than a train at this stage.
I mean, yeah, the train kind of lights were off at the end of the tunnel and all sorts for me yesterday. I was kind of a bit down and a bit whatever. And then obviously we got the Havertz news. I got a bit of nonsense going on with work as well. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, which seems that it's not actually out of nowhere at all, but to us it's out of nowhere because we're not in the boardroom. But yeah, how surprised were you to see what was actually happening?
Very surprised. As I said, as we were talking earlier, when I saw it come through, I had to take a second look and a third look just to make sure I was reading it correctly, because as far as I was concerned, and I think most people were concerned, as it was off to the other mob down the road, and to get this last night was, oh wow. And I suppose just on what you said, as you said there, we're not in the boardroom. I think it is a great reflection of what's going on in the boardroom, that nobody knew anything about this until basically it's over the line. I think that's very positive. I know as fans, we want to know absolutely everything that's going on all the time. But I think for the purpose of things like transfers, it's probably best we're kept in the dark until everything's done and signed. Otherwise, you couldn't end up like Daniel Levy and have egg all over your face.
Yeah, I mean, I did read an article from, I think it was Ben Jacobs, who gets a lot of stick actually, but he's been quite good this transfer window, to be fair. Yeah. And I read something from him that basically said that they just never shut off, and as soon as Berta kind of met with Steve Parish, he basically said, right, there's no more communication to Tottenham at all. Basically don't answer the phone. So I mean, from that kind of quarter, can you really blame Levy? It's kind of, he thought it was done. No,
you can't.
As much as anybody else thought it was done. So he's getting a bit of a hard time, obviously, from the Spurs kind of narrative and everything. And as much as they're a rival of ours and such like, I don't really think that he could do anything about it, could he?
I don't believe so. It's just one of those things, when you conduct your business in public, or as public as it looks to have been from their side, you do leave yourself open to embarrassment. But as you said, Sparks, I don't think there was a hell of a lot more Tottenham could have done. They met the fee Palace wanted. They met with the player and the player's agent. They just got gazumped, I suppose, for want of a better term.
It wasn't even gazumped. It's the same deal.
No, same fee with a lower wage by all accounts to what it was being offered.
Yeah, I think it is a slightly lower wage, yeah.
Yeah, I read that. Now, again, that could be nonsense. No one really knows what's in a contract. So, but, it's one of those things, you know, as I said, it wasn't gazumped. It's just as a... If the opportunity for EZE became Arsenal or Tottenham, he was only picking Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan. He was in Hale End or the academy. Maybe he hadn't moved to Hale End by when he was there, but he was definitely part of the academy as a young player. So
I think he was Hale End, wasn't he?
He could well have been. He was definitely an Arsenal academy player. Yeah. So look, once the opportunity came for him to come back to the club, I don't think he was ever going to turn that down.
No, I don't think so either. But yeah,
So,
let's just do some of these comments because just say
course.
hi to people. Very official, welcome in. How are we? What a signing that will be. It reminds me of the Alexis kind of player, smooth, skillful, and clinical. What are your thoughts? How do you respond to that?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Again, he's going to play off the left, I believe. Very, very good play. Look, we've seen him. He's done damage to us. He scored at the Emirates for Palace last season. He's been one to top. If you were picking kind of, I know teams do this kind of best 11s from outside the top 6, he'd nearly always be the first name on the team sheet for the last few seasons. He's been exceptional for Palace. When they had him and Elise, and okay, Mateta's still there, but him, Elise, and Mateta, they were as good a front three really as what was around. Now they've lost 2 of them, obviously, one last summer and one this, but Palace will be fine. They always seem to recover from losing players. But yeah, again, as the guy rightly says, if he turns out to be as good as Alexis, we'll be all very happy, I think. Absolutely. Not the Man United Alexis, by the way, just to be very clear.
Yeah. Our Alexis, absolutely. Yeah. If we get the Man United Alexis, then absolutely
problems.
Not. But, I absolutely, completely agree with that. Also, domination. Dom, who was on the show last week. Evening, gents. I'm happy to have Eze, and that is not playing tonight. That was another thing. We were led to believe that he was going to play tonight, and big clubs don't do that, and whatever. And it's been reported today that he's not going to play tonight at all. And for me, absolutely 100% the right decision from a very selfish point of view. But
but even from a Palace point of view, if you were to play him tonight and he gets injured, you've lost the guts of £70 million. For the sake of a game you're going to win anyways.
Yeah, but they must, if they are going to play him anyway, they must put a clause in that basically says, right, okay, you play him, it knocks 10 million off the price. If he gets injured,
there must be something.
We're stuck with the deal, but it's 10 million off a price.
Yeah, there must be. Yeah, you'd imagine Arsenal certainly wielded some pressure on them to make sure he wasn't on the pitch tonight.
But we were also led to believe that the only reason he was actually coming to us was because we were allowing him to play.
Yeah.
So these people kind of come out and go, "Oh, Ornstein said we're tight on PNR. Ornstein said, he only come in because of the Kai Havertz thing." They don't know the details of the deals. They know the details of the specific deal itself.
Yeah.
Because they're fed the information.
Yeah.
They won't be fed.
Like this. Exactly. But as deals like this, they don't get done on a whim because someone gets injured in the morning and you ring up the phone. It's not like Football Manager or FIFA or one of them where you just get a transfer done in 10, 20 minutes,
I'm just trying to find
the tweet. I read something maybe you saw it as well, Sparks, from Miguel Delaney this morning, said that the framework for this deal was agreed not last Sunday week, the morning of the Charity Shield. So there was a framework of a deal already in place. So again,
so this is basically what Ben Jacobs said, the same thing, more or less. How Arsenal signed EZE and why plenty of meetings and lead work came before the hijack. Also made a June approach as revealed, and a key July meeting took place between EZE, Arteta and Berta. EZE always wanted Arsenal, but Nwaneri's new deal stopped a bid in early August. Spurs moved after missing out on Gibbs White and Maddison's ACL. Then he backed off earlier in the window, prioritising adding a Forest midfielder. Levy couldn't close the deal before the Premier League season started, and in hindsight, proves costly. But Spurs didn't think Arsenal would bid last week, so they took their time. So yeah, and they basically said that Spurs reached full agreement 48 hours ago, but Havertz injury, he's reporting the Havertz injury thing as well. I think this for me is just putting 2 and 2 together, and
completely.
coming up with 4, and it's more like 6 for me, to be honest.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, because they don't even play the same position. Havertz plays as a striker, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So what difference does that make?
Exactly. As we said earlier, Sparks, it's since about Havertz might only miss weeks rather than months. So you're not buying a player because a player is going to miss 3 or 4 weeks. That's
absolutely not.
That's ridiculous.
You
know, for anyone to suggest that to me is just ridiculous. That
it's
making
bizarre,
transfer plans based on a player being out for 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, even if it's 6 weeks, that's not how top clubs operate.
Certainly not £60 million.
Operate like that,
Yeah, I mean a £60 million player. I mean maybe if you've got a £25 million player, a youngster that you're gonna kind of bed in anyway. Maybe that if that's the case, but you're not doing that for a £65 million player. It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
BBA, welcome in, sir. How are we? Can you all make sure you're hitting the like button and dropping the comments in and sharing the live? Do comments after if you're watching the video on replay as well. Appreciate you. BBA said, "Come on, Eze. Great to see. He's not playing tonight. Underage to get it. So this is Steve. That's that was on the show last week with Dom as well. This is BV had his pants pulled down. I mean, I think he did, but I don't think there's much he could do about it. I think maybe there were rumblings after that meeting in July that basically said, "Look, just hold on as long as you can. We will come back." So maybe that's what went on. We're not in the boardroom, so we can't really. We can only hypothesize, can't we? Speculate, yeah. Agent dropped some of his feet as well. Apparently, some of his feet.
Yeah.
Okay. He dropped his feet. Okay, that'd be interesting.
That is.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. That one. I mean, so long as it's not Eze's feet, eh? But yeah, spot on from AFC and CPFC point of view. What is interesting is that we had the deal lined up days ago and nobody knew. Shows how only info people wants to emerge does. Yeah, I completely get that, and we've said that before as well. Completely, it's absolutely been in the works. And it's just a coincidence, I think, that he kind of fell on the Havertz news as well, because that would be filtering out from a medical department rather than a club department. I would have thought.
Yeah, you'd imagine so.
I agree. I often say real transfers aren't like FIFA or FM. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, a lot of people kind of think because we're playing it on Football Manager, that's how it goes. Absolutely makes no difference whatsoever. Agree. Havertz injury is a red herring here, different position, and deal done too quick at best. It triggered the deal earlier. Well, the thing is, as well, it was only done quick because we think it coincided with the Havertz thing, right?
Yeah.
And the gazumping or I don't know, the shutout or the hijack, whatever you want to call it, was only kind of put into action as we kind of see it portrayed in the media, because of the Havertz injury. But I just think it was a massive coincidence, didn't you?
I believe so. That's as Dom is saying there. It brought it forward by a week. And maybe the Spurs thing, getting an agreement brought it forward by a week. But as I said, I think it's just pure coincidence.
Yeah.
Really, I'd say maybe it's more a case of, okay, Spurs are moving here. We need to move to get it all done and dusted. So, but I think, as you said, the Havertz thing, I think, is a red herring. We've discussed a different position, different type
Yeah.
of player, only out
Yeah.
for weeks as opposed to months. So it just it doesn't add up.
Yeah. I completely get that. Jay Gunner 17, welcome in, sir. How are we? Nice to have you in here. Yeah, need to get you on the show at some point, mate. And Steve's rectified his typo and put fees. Let me work that out.
Is very important, guys.
Fees or feet. No mean feet though. But yeah, sorry, I meant the timing might have been brought forward by a few days, but like you say, it's a coincidence in my opinion. Yeah, I completely agree with that, Dom. I just think, people are adding 2 and 2 together and just making 4. So it's, but he's done now, and he's going to be. I assume he's going to be announced on Saturday. I would have thought that he's going to be presented to the crowd. I mean,
that's what I would have thought probably before the game. Seems to be the ideal time to do it to me. But
yeah, absolutely. And I think it's fair to say that everybody thinks that the Gyökeres shirt sales broke records. I think the EZE ones are gonna blow it out of the water. I really do.
Completely agree.
Yeah, because I think all the fan bases, we've got these divides in the fan base, but I actually think the whole fan base is happy with this one.
Yeah, I haven't seen one complaint or one negative comment regarding this transfer. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but generally, if there's negative comments out there, you find them very quickly.
Yeah, in fairness, if you have to look for a negative comment, it's not negative enough if you have to look for it hard enough. So they're normally just there. So I think everybody's on board with it, and I can see a very lot of people just wanting to get that shirt. But yeah, I kind of I was kind of struggling with whether to get shirts this year, and now I'm struggling to know what names I want on my shirt. It's gone from complete one
extreme to the other.
Yeah, absolutely. So I keep having to remind myself that that Zubimendi is a marquee signing, and Gyökeres is a marquee signing, and essentially EZE now. So the 3 marquee signings essentially in a window, absolutely unprecedented, isn't it?
Absolutely. You're going back a long time for Arsenal to do something like that. I think the most we had in the last kind of 15, 20 years would be one. Say we'd sign Ozil one summer or Alexis the next summer. We'd never have 3. Never. It just didn't happen or doesn't happen that we'd managed to get 3 quality players in the door in the one summer. Just incredible window. And obviously Berta deserves a lot of credit for that because he's only in the door himself. So hopefully it's a sign of things to come.
I do wonder if the mindset has actually changed this summer, or whether certain people couldn't get certain things over the line. And obviously the criticism, rightly so, in some quarters has gone to Arteta, but there has to be more criticism go towards the owners if they haven't sanctioned money, and or Edu if he's had the money and not got the deals over the line.
Yeah, and look, we'll never find out where the blame really.
Somebody will write a book one day.
Someone will, someone will, but they'll write it from their own perspective, and it'll be blaming the other party.
Yeah, and it might not be in our lifetime anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But so it's it's going to be very interesting to see anyway, to see if anything else happens, isn't it? Because obviously we still need. Do we still need the left winger, or are we happy with what we've got? What do you make of it now?
Yeah, so it depends, I think, on if there's anything to these Martinelli to Saudi rumours. If there's something in them, then maybe we will need a new left winger, because EZE will play off the left, but he's not a touchline winger either. From what I've seen at Palace, anyways, he's comfortable playing from the left, but he'll play all over the forward line. He won't just hang out on the left wing, waiting for the ball to reach him. He'll go into pockets to find spaces. So now Calafiori's been our left full for the last couple of games, and he's more of an overlapping winger. So maybe EZE moving inside will give him a bit more space if he was to become kind of that touchline option, if you like. But if we keep Martinelli, Trossard, and EZE, I think it's probably fanciful to think we'll bring in a fourth left winger, if you like. Again, nobody knows in terms of outgoings. If we've just given Trossard a pay rise, so I doubt he'll be going. Martinelli.
What do you make of that? What did you make of the pay rise thing?
Strange. Yeah. Didn't make sense to me. He's under contract. He's over 30. I don't see what the benefit is, is to Arsenal giving him a pay rise. But look, there's smarter minds than me working on these deals.
Yeah.
But
do you think it was just something that was promised to him, and he probably wasn't happy that he didn't necessarily get it?
Yeah, I would imagine so, because it doesn't make sense to just give a player at that age a pay rise without extending him. You know, like, you're not doing to protect his value, because I think he's only got a year or two left. So
27 it is. So
so I think the end of next season. So
yeah. I think he's got an option for an add-on though.
Oh, you got a +1 if you like. Yeah,
I think he's got a +1 add-on. So I'm not too sure about that, and I don't know how much the value is. There's people spewing nonsense that he's got up to 200k. I doubt very much it's gone from 90k to 200k without extending. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. No. If he'd extended another 2 years, then doubling his salary and more may be a prospect, but I don't think that would be the case. It'd be more like it'd be like 130-ish.
Yeah,
so somewhere around that mark.
So.
Yeah. And do you think that that's related to the Havertz injury? Because obviously he can play as a striker, rather than EZE being linked to Havertz. That actually could be.
Potentially, yeah, because maybe there was a deal lined up for him to go elsewhere, and he was like, well, the only way I'm hanging around is with a pay rise. So, and obviously we do need cover if Havertz is going to be out. Maybe there was an initial fear was that's a season ender, and they operated accordingly. We don't know that, obviously, Spurs, but there could be something in that. That we felt we had to make sure we kept hold of the bodies we do have, if Havertz is going to be out for a considerable period of time. But luckily, if the reports are to be believed, he's going to be out for weeks rather than months. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's hopefully the case. I heard first off, I heard like 3 months, and then I've heard 3 weeks. So, but I don't think it would be clarified yet. You'd probably be having some kind of medical appointment today or stroke tomorrow. Yeah. And we get the news from there. I would have thought that guys, please make sure you're hitting the like and subscribe. And if you're watching on Twitter, come through to the YouTube as well. It does really help in there. And hit the likes buttons and the shares as well. James, welcome in. Nice to see you, my friend. So are we thinking we're done? from your point of view, you think we're done unless anything major outgoing happens?
Yeah, I would believe so. But again, look, I didn't expect the EZE news to break last night.
Yeah,
So
for sure. I'm not expecting you to be in the boardroom. I'm just saying what your
but
opinion
yeah,
is
from
of.
if you look at the kind of the way our squad is at the moment, I think we're probably done. I don't see us really. We'd end up nearly with too large a squad then. If we start doing much more business, Jesus still has to come back in. So we have kind of plenty of options in attacking areas. Some obviously will be a fan of some of those players and others won't. But yeah, I think unless we get players out the door, I don't see us doing anything major anyways.
Yeah, I think our job, and especially after this window anyway, is just to not forget any favourites, forget anything else, and just literally just back them. And we can't really complain about this transfer window specifically.
No.
I think periodically we could have. I think that Arteta kind of had grace periods of he's not been fulfilled. I don't think he can say that now. So where does it put you? Where does your thought process go from here? Obviously, there's still the Arsenal must, and what are your expectations for the season, and what would be the minimum you'd accept for, I don't know, for whether Arteta would lose his job or whether he'd continue or be replaced or what?
It's one of those. There's three teams fighting for the league: Man City, Liverpool, and ourselves. And it's not as if Liverpool or Man City have been shopping a bloody Primark this summer either.
Yeah,
they've spent lots of money too. So it's not like, we have to win the league because it's not bloody easy. It's not as if we're 20 points better than those two teams, and that if we don't win it's not like Scotland. It's not Celtic who are well ahead. If they don't win the league, it's a disaster. There's three really, really good teams trying to win one trophy. So for me, look, I'd love to win the league, but I don't think it's, if you don't win the league, get out of here. That's not where I'm lying anyways at the moment. I think if we drop off completely and we're 15, 20, 25 points behind those teams, then we need to have a serious look, because the money has gone in, he's been backed. So we need to see signs of progression. And look, second again, it'd be hard to take, but again, it's a very, very tough league to win. Jurgen Klopp, a brilliant manager, only won it once. Fantastic manager, was only able to get over the line once. Now, I'd kill to get over the line once, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
it's very, very difficult. And the way I always look at it, with Arteta, our floor is probably Champions League qualification. That seems to be our floor. I don't think, with him as manager, I don't see us dropping out of those top 4/5 positions. If we got rid of him, and you change, there's no guarantee. You're sacrificing your floor potentially in pursuit of a ceiling that's still going to be very, very difficult to achieve, regardless of who the manager is. So for me, I'm very, very conservative in that kind of thing. I know there's others out there that be happy to sacrifice the floor in pursuit of a higher ceiling, but to me, having that high floor is very, very important as well. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, Sparks, is that yes, I'd love to win the league, but I know that we're up against two exceptionally good teams who've also spent plenty of money this summer, and City spent plenty of money in the January window as well. They're not doing that to finish behind us. So we're in a league. We're one of the top three teams in the league, but only one of them can emerge with the trophy. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I also think as well that
non-answer.
no, I completely get it, and yeah, it has to be extrapolated properly. But I completely agree. I also think that we know our club, and unless the club's changed, in however long, which I don't think it has, if they did remove Arteta, they'd put somebody in like him anyway. It'd be
Yeah,
another futuristic. It'd be somebody else to kind of take the reins that they want to stay for the whole time. That to keep that same model sustainable and keep it all going in the same. I don't know, more or less a family orientated way, sustainable model, and I don't see them going out for I don't know, an Enrique or whoever, a Simeone, or we don't get established managers, do we?
no, no. We all remember the headline Arson who, don't we? So, like,
Oh well, absolutely.
so as I said, if you look at the Cronkies as well, there are other sports franchises with the Rams in the States. They plucked Sean McVay basically from nowhere as a 31, 32-year-old. He's still there now, but they went for a young coach with, as you said, a futuristic kind of idea as to how to run things. And I think that's what they want. That's what they look for. Someone who is young, going to be there for the long haul, and work with him for a considerable period of time. I don't think they're the type to change on a whim. It'll be a strategic decision based on data and stats and a lot of analysis. And the replacement will be done in very much the same way. It'll be backed up by stats, data, proper analysis. If we are looking for a replacement, I hope to God we're not, because if we're looking for a replacement, it means we've probably had a bad season. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
again, I completely agree. And whilst we've got to be imposing ourselves on the league and hopefully win it, and this is not me saying I don't want to win it. Of course, I want to win it. I'm hopeful of winning it. I back my team to win it. But again, like you said, there's two mammoths there. It's particularly Liverpool with, and if they get Isak as on top of what they've done, I do worry about their defense. If they get injuries in its current state, especially that their backup is injury prone himself in Gomez. I worry for them with that, but
it looks like Kanata has potentially checked out already. So, Kanata, it looks like it's kind of checked out already, or his mind's not on the job.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing last week, to be honest with you. He was kind of nowhere in no man's land for most of the game, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind playing him this week, to be honest.
Yeah. Gravenberch will make a difference because he'll hide a lot of those deficiencies for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he'll lock that up, of course, but obviously Kirkes didn't do very, very well. He was very rash in his challenges and such like. So he will need to be held back, I guess. I think Frimpong's a bit passive. It was good going forward.
Time now as well. So
say that again.
Frimpong might miss a bit of time before the international
he's out.
break, I read.
He's got a hamstring, isn't he?
That's what I believe. Yeah. He won't be back till after the international game, which obviously means now. Look, again, you always take injury news with a pinch of salt, but if that is true, he'll miss our game at Anfield. So that's
as I say with all players, I hope he gets gets well quickly. Exactly. I don't mind if we play against players. I don't really. That's we have to worry about what we can control on our side, and let everybody else worry about that from their point of view, don't we? It's,
exactly.
The injuries on our side are completely beyond our control, aren't they? So But So we're on match day 2.
Yes.
Obviously, we play Leeds United at the evening game, which is kind of a bit annoying because I need to get back to I completely got my dates wrong. So I arranged to meet meet up with some people, and now I have to be really quick back. So bearing in mind I live like 2 hours away, so it's kind of a bit of a nightmare. But there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you envisage the lineup being, and what you're saying like for the scoreline?
Yeah, so I would imagine lineup would be the exact same that started at Old Trafford. Maybe Timber for White, maybe. But I don't see any other changes. I doubt that EZE will be registered in time, so I don't think there's any point even considering that. Madwecke may come in for Martinelli, who again didn't exactly pull up any trees at Old Trafford. So hopefully we see an improved performance from him if he is in the starting 11. But I don't see wholesale changes. Might be one at right back and one at left wing, but it wouldn't surprise me if you went same again either. So,
do you think that there was an illness going around the squad last week?
Yeah,
I thought Rice in particular
looked drained,
well off it, and he doesn't never looks like that. He's always full of energy, and even if he's doing things wrong, he's kind of digging himself out of a hole. But he just looked like he didn't have the energy to do that last week. And this isn't making excuses for them. I think that this might be a reason that the performance looked so off last week.
Yeah. But the fact, usually when one player has that type of infection, like we heard about, Zubimendi missed the whole week of training. It's very rarely it's an isolated incident. Other players may just have lesser or not as severe symptoms, but usually if something like that gets into the dressing room, it affects more than one guy, usually. And I think there's probably something to that, Sparks, that a lot of the players look drained for whatever reason. But yeah, I would say usually when you hear of one player having the type of virus or infection that Zubimendi had, it's very rarely it's an isolated case.
Yeah.
My experience. You know, when a virus gets into your house, it's very rarely just one member of the family who gets it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't take very long, does it? So once you pop, you can't stop and all that lot. But
moving swiftly on.
Yeah, but I think hearing that about Zubimendi, and I just kind of atone that to the whole squad, really, because it can only be the only explanation, really. Well, it can't be the only explanation. There obviously can be off-match fitness, but at the end of the day, if they are suffering as well, and some for different levels, obviously, because obviously a virus hits at different peaks for different people. Just high performance thing. If you even got the slightest thing in your body and polluting and whatever, these are professional athletes, and the slightest thing can drop you down 10%, can't it?
Yeah, exactly, and it shows. 10% shows massively.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 1% shows, but if you got that fatigue, I mean, you've never seen Rice replaced by that kind of period. So,
no.
Yeah, it's a bit. Steve says maybe that's a good sign. When the whole squad had COVID, we lost first game of the season at Brentford. We lost the league by 2 points. Positive moments, we won in spite of illness. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the points are all that matters. The performance doesn't really matter so long as it's not prolonged performance period, isn't it? Yeah, so you can't obviously the litmus test is going to be this game, because obviously if they perform the same way again, then questions need to be asked. I guess. What did you make of the wingers as in Martinelli and Saka in that game? Because they were a bit questionable, weren't they?
Yeah, both quite poor, I felt. Yeah, both quite poor. I didn't think either of them really left their mark on the game for whatever reason. So again, they're two guys who I would be hoping and expecting bigger performances from this week.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
Manchester United, they defended quite well. They really went aggressively after our three attacking players, to point nearly at man marking them everywhere. Now, we have to be better at recognising that and finding the spaces to play in when they are doing that. But yeah, two poor performances really from Saka and Martinelli.
yeah.
So you'd be hoping for better this week.
Yeah, there was one in particular, one particular occasion when they were running through, and it was right in the middle of the park, and they're just beating the line, and both of them started running out towards the wings, and then kind of inverted and came back in. So they were them both going narrow, and you're like, right, okay. If you're going to come narrow, can you go out, or just do something different?
What's the space?
Yeah, you're like, oh, you're trying to take up the same blade of grass. He's trying to get a ball to you, and you're not making it very easy. But I thought Odegaard had a reasonable game, to be honest with you.
So did I.
Yeah,
so did I. The other attacking players, he offered the most of anyone.
Yeah.
Could have had an assist. De Ligt made a great block from Saka right at the end. But anything good Arsenal did from an attacking point of view, I felt he was in the middle of it at some point in the move. Other than the set piece, obviously.
And when Timber came on, I think he kind of settled things down a little bit and just kind of rolled it out a little bit and just kind of went, well, we're a bit more secure now.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes. Well, hopefully we can kind of get that again. What's your prediction for the scoreline in the Leeds game?
I'm going to go 2-0. I don't quite think we're at our fluent attacking best yet. I would hope that will come. Obviously, we're going to talk next week probably about the fact there's an international break 3 weeks into the season, but which is not good from our point of view, I think, because we've at least two new attacking players looking to find space and find structure. So, but I just think 2-0, take the 3 points and move on. I think we've been throwing an absolute gauntlet to start the season. It's not pretty when you look at our fixture. So it's about just banking points at this stage and moving on to the next game.
Yeah, you mentioned the international break, though. We're obviously getting a more English contingent that can potentially get drawn up to the England team. Obviously, we've had internationals for years, but there's a bit of added impetus to internationals when you actually house your home nation's internationals, isn't there?
Definitely. Like that's 100% a fact. Most of them obviously they have a greater connection to it. They know Arsenal since they're from the cradle, basically. Whereas non-English or this part of the world-based players don't necessarily have that connection immediately. They have to develop it, and we've been very, very fortunate with some of the players we have had that have developed fantastic connections to the club and been great players for the club. But as you said, Sparks, I think when they do have that immediate connection, Arsenal is immediately recognisable to them. It does mean a bit more, I suppose, for want of a better term. So we could have as many as 5 or 6 going off with England for these qualifiers. I think it's qualifiers, it's not Nations League. Yeah, it's qualifiers in September. So that's huge. And if we have 5 or 6 Arsenal players going in with England, Gary Neville said this when he went away with England. He was nudging Steven Gerrard. Why don't you come on over here? Things like that do happen, And anyone who says that they don't is a liar. So
I mean, there was a post
5 or
from
6 nudges. It's far more effective than one.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Especially when you're going away on international duty, and you actually know that you're going to be going the same people you played with week in, week out, and it creates familiarity when they go away with internationals, and it helps when they come back, doesn't it? It's just
Yeah,
natural.
yeah. Means they're not missing as much of a beat. If there's, as I said, 4 or 5 of them coming directly back from one country back into our setup. We had probably the same when we'd a number of French players going away with France come back in. It was fairly seamless because they'd been playing together for the 2 weeks of the international break anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just think it makes it more watchable. Just makes it more interesting, more watchable, because you actually want to.
Ireland aren't watchable, Sparks. Just to be very clear.
I mean, I'm saying more watchable on the sense of you don't want them to get injured, you don't want to do whatever, and you kind of don't want them to drop off at the same time. So, if they're in familiar surroundings, if you like, with familiar people, at least they're kind of keeping a routine together, if you like, rather than basically just seeing 10 other players or 20 other players, whatever. Yeah, 20 other players, and they're on their own sort of thing. So
definitely.
It's just that bit of familiarity more than anything else, really. But so okay, so you got 2-0 for Arsenal against Leeds. West Ham Chelsea is tomorrow night.
Yeah.
What do you see happening there?
Chelsea comfortably. West Ham were absolutely shocking against Sunderland. Now, admittedly, I only saw the highlights on Match of the Day, but from what I did see, if I was a West Ham fan, I'd be quite worried. The goals they gave up were absolutely horrendous. So I would see Chelsea weren't that special against Palace last week, but Palace are quite a good side in their own right. So I'd imagine Chelsea at least 2, maybe 3-1. That's kind of my feeling on that. It's a comfortable win for Chelsea.
Yeah, Palace might be a little bit worse now, though. Sorry,
just a tad.
In there.
Just a tad, yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, I do think Palace are going to do well this season as well, because obviously they've decent manager, decent players, and such like, and they seem to control how many players go as well. So it seems really good. But yeah, I agree. What score would you put on the West Ham Chelsea? Sorry,
3-1 Chelsea.
3-1 Chelsea.
Probably being kind, giving West Ham a goal.
Yeah, I'd actually go 4-0 Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just they've lost Kudus as well. He was one of their biggest threats. Has Paquetá come back? I know he's been.
Not sure, actually. I'm not sure. I don't think he played last week.
No, I know he didn't play last week, but I don't know if he come back to training last week or anything. But he got cleared of everything. So, whether he comes back or he's actually sold, I don't know. So, we'll have to see. But we've both got handsome wins for Chelsea. So, that put them on 4 points, wasn't it? Because they only drew last week against Palace. The first game, midday-ish, is Man City Tottenham. Now, obviously, it's normally quite a decent hunting ground for Tottenham. The Etihad, but how do you see this one going?
City relatively comfortably. Now, I know what Frank would probably do. He'll probably set Spurs up very similar to how he did in the Super Cup, kind of playing 5 defenders to try and keep it tight for as long as possible. But City, to me, just are a better outfit at home. Probably go 2-0, 3-1, something like that to City. Haaland obviously has come back this season in incredible form with two goals already on the first day of the season. So,
I think this is going to be the first test. Wolves look like a relegation side. I tipped them for relegation this season, and they look like a relegation side again. That's not to take anything away from City. They can only beat who's in front of them. But what I'm saying is, this is going to be the one that kind of points out where they're at rather than the Wolves game. like, in my opinion,
agreed.
rather than anything else. But yeah, I expect Man City to win. And do you expect a more pragmatic approach from Thomas Frank in games like this? Because obviously, under Ange, it was kind of all guns blazing until it got to Europa League, and then he changed for stuff, which is weird.
Yeah,
but it's who we are. But I'm going to change it for Europa League, which is a bit weird. You either stand by it or you don't.
Yeah, agreed. No, I think Frank, as I said, I think he'll play 5 at the back, 2 holding midfielders in Paulinho and Sarr or Bissouma, one or the other, and then it'll be basically Kudus, Brennan Johnson, Richarlison, try and nick something for him on the break. But that's how I'd imagine he'll set up. Obviously, I don't know for a fact, but watching them in the Super Cup against PSG, it was very much that kind of approach that we're going to soak up pressure, try and get something either from a set piece, which they did. I think got 2 goals from set pieces in that Super Cup, and try and hold out. So I'd imagine something similar against Man City.
Yeah, I mean, I do find it quite bizarre. Obviously, a lot of those people that were Anjin and whatever are just happy with entertaining football and whatnot, and then they've gone with Thomas Frank, and Thomas Frank is going to be as pragmatic, if not worse, than what Arteta is, because he's starting from a blank canvas, isn't he? He's got to literally start all over again.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Laura says, "Hello, Sparks. Are you as smug as El Smugger was last night?" I mean, I
that's a very high bar you're setting there.
Say, beating El Smuggo with smugness is very difficult. I can't. I don't know if I can reach that level. I can try. But yeah, I was very surprised by the news, as I think we all were. I was very happy with the news, especially after having a bit of a downer pretty much for the most of the day. So it definitely pulled me out of a hole, and it gave me some banter on Twitter, which is always nice. Yeah, hope that meets the smugness bar. There we go. Bournemouth play Wolves.
One team impressive last week despite losing, the other absolutely shocking in a loss. So Bournemouth are at home in that game, Sparks, aren't they, as well?
They are at home, yes.
Yeah, so you'd have to fancy Bournemouth, wouldn't you, really, based on what we saw last week?
Yeah, I think if we base it on what we saw, I mean, I do think Bournemouth should have had a player sent off. I think it was a handball. I think it was dogso, as they call it.
Yes.
I saw many that were not that actually given last season. Yeah. I have no idea on this planet how he got away with it. All I can actually think, and I don't know what you think about it, but all I can think is they don't roll the video that far.
You'd like to think that's not it, but if it is something like that, it could well be. Howard Webb will explain it all on a show at Michael Owen next week anyways.
Howard Webb ain't explaining nothing to me, I can tell you that for nothing. If you watch Howard Webb and you put it in text, I might read it. But if Howard Webb, Mr. Arrogance himself, is on a program about how crap officiating is, telling us how visually impaired we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry I ain't wasting my time for that. Yeah. It's the only thing worse than this segment of the ref watch with Howard Webb is last season's one where it was on BT Sport with Michael Owen interviewing him.
Yeah. I'm sure that one will come back this season again.
Well, it's not on TNT now, is it? It's on Sky now.
Oh, they've moved it, have they?
Yeah, they've moved it. Yeah, they obviously need a bigger audience than TNT, so they've moved it to Sky, unless they have the equal version. I just can't listen to that guy.
No. He goes on there to run cover for the referees unless it's something like the Liverpool Tottenham thing a couple of years ago, which he couldn't defend at all. So he had to go on and say mea culpa. But if there's something at all that he can defend, he will. That's the way VAR has been run in the Premier League as well. It's more or less your job as VAR is to back up the referee's decision, even if it's wrong. If it's not like absolutely 100% irrefutable, definitely wrong, you stick with his call, and we'll just say, "Oh, that's ref's call," and it'll all be grand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you think, but I actually think that the bar for VAR, not intervention, but to actually overturn decisions, I think it's all wrong.
Yeah,
purely because the refs at times it's pure guesswork.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you remember. I think it was 2 seasons ago, when Havertz had a goal ruled out because he handled the ball
against Aston Villa. Yeah,
against Aston Villa
at Villa Park. Yeah.
At Villa Park, even though Matty Cash had handled the ball to defend against it, and you had evidence of that happening, you had no evidence of Havertz even touching the ball with a hand. But because they didn't see any evidence of the ball touching his hand, they couldn't overturn it.
Yeah, but that's the same. That exact same game, you probably In that exact same game, you probably remember it, right? Jesus was definitely fouled and should have been a penalty. Wasn't given on the field.
Yeah, it was kicked on the back of his thigh.
Exactly. Wasn't given on the field. So they just stuck with the referee's decision. I think the bar is, I think it's all over the shop, to be honest.
Yeah.
You'll never get consistency 100% across the board in refereeing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that they need to change how VAR, to me, they need to go towards the NFL system where it's a challenge system. The coach gets 1 or 2 challenges per half, and if he challenges, the ref has to go to the screen to review his decision. Not another guy in Stockley Park deciding which calls get reviewed or which calls don't. Same in cricket, like the captain gets to decide which call gets reviewed and which call doesn't. You know, I think that's a far better system than what we currently have in the league, where it's a ref backing up another ref. You know, to me, that's a fairly dodgy system, to be honest. Because
I think it should be shown live as well.
Yeah, wasn't Mike Dean said it a few years ago when Cucurella's hair got pulled in the Spurs Chelsea game?
Oh yeah,
a fairly touchy game. He said, "I didn't want to send the ref to the screen because he's my buddy, and it had been a touchy enough game, and I didn't want to cause any more trouble for him."
Yeah, he said he was on having a bad game, so I didn't want him to feel any more stress. Basically.
Yeah, like that's crazy. Like that's absolutely bonkers. You know, and that's probably still going on. Only we don't hear about it because none of them are stupid enough to come out and say it.
No, but I actually think that that our refs should be VAR'd by Serie A or something like that. The Serie A refs, and Serie A should be done by La Liga, and then La Liga done by Liga, and it's a whole rotation. So literally nobody's matey, and one season it's done like that, or it could be any way around, and you don't have to do it for a whole season with the one federation. You can rotate it any way you want it. So I mean,
I was saying this to someone as well. If you think about it, there's 10 Premier League games every weekend now. So every match has a referee and a fourth official who's also a referee. Yeah. And then you have a guy at Stockley Park on VAR. Yeah. In England, there isn't 30 quality officials, 30 quality referees, as far as I'm concerned anyways.
No.
So you're definitely going to get bad decisions. You know, we had the Palace Chelsea, the free kick last week. That's never been refereed.
I won't talk about that.
I've never seen that refereed by a VAR before. Never. And I guarantee if you watch, they said the rule came in 2019. I would say if you watch every free kick scored since 2019, that type of infringement has taken place on not all of them, but on the vast majority of them.
Well, we had one last season, if you remember. I don't know if you remember, against Man United, where the geezer, Was it Bruno that basically stood in the wall? And
He scored the free kick. I can't remember.
Oh, he scored the free kick. Yeah, it might have been Xerxes then.
Possibly.
It was one of the forwards, I think. It might anybody, but he stood in the wall, and he's like 2 yards away, and or a yard away from the wall, and he affects play.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, how does that work? And then just because it's Palace, and they had the audacity to claim against the system.
Yeah.
That it was very naughty that, and I really felt for Palace, to be honest. It was a shocking decision for me, and in fairness, the Chelsea game looks completely different, doesn't it? If that finishes 1-0,
absolutely,
and they lost to Palace, it's a whole different story for them. Game week 1 with 0 points.
Yeah, like I have no problem if they're going to start refereeing it like that. I know it's in the letter of the law; he can't do that. Hasn't been refereed like that for 5-6 years since this rule was first brought in. If it's a new point of emphasis that you're bringing in this season, communicate that to bloody everyone. Yeah. Don't just decide on the first weekend of the season, look at you, I've caught you out. Like you can't do that. You just can't.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're turning a blind eye to something for 6 years, you don't just decide, the first weekend of the following season is when we're going to start refereeing this properly. You just can't do that.
You have to go in every dressing room and go, right, okay, it's a thing now. We know it's been a rule. We haven't done it before. We are clamping down on it, so don't do it.
Yeah.
And was it in the Tottenham game that the ref actually went up to somebody and said, "You have to be a yard away. You can't be there."
So, yeah. It was an early enough free kick, so it was probably
I think it was a Spurs game. And he drew a sideways line, and I was like, "Well, that's the first time I've seen a sideways line, to be honest with you." So, granted, I haven't watched every single game, but it's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah.
But the ironic, the bizarre thing about it is, if he pushes him the other way, it's a perfect goal.
Oh,
it's no problem.
Yeah. But that's it. What's to stop a defender pushing an attacker into the wall nowadays if he knows that's going to be? Yeah,
nothing. Well, this is the other one, right? So they're supposedly stopping the grappling, right?
Yeah.
But I saw Vicario push a player out of his way. So he basically stood on his line. He's got the attacker on in front of him, and then the defender there. And the ref had been over like 2 or 3 times just to say, cut it out, cut it out, cut it out. They all go away, and Vicario just pushes him.
Yeah.
And you're like, right, okay, so what you're saying is that the keeper can do it, but nobody else can.
Yeah. But that actually is something that really annoys me. You know, when there's a corner about to come in, the referee blows the whistle, stop doing that. Why don't they just let the corner come in and give a penalty? That'd stop it straight away. Wouldn't happen at any other corner the rest of the game.
Or if it continues, you just go yellow card, and don't think I'll be lenient next time either.
Yeah.
If you're doing it again, it'll be another yellow card and it'll be a red.
You're off. Yeah.
And people soon stop it.
Yeah.
Or you have to make it the yard rule on the keeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to give him a yard.
Yeah.
But then I know what'll happen with that. The keeper will move forward into the space that's created by everybody, and then everybody would have to move a yard.
Yeah. Till they're back on the halfway line.
Till they're back on the halfway line or the edge of the box or whatever.
Yeah.
So we digress. So we spun off into a bit of a tangent. That wasn't intended to happen. It was a kind of a natural progression.
We were on Bournemouth Wolves.
Bournemouth Wolves, yeah. So what are you saying scoreline for that?
3-0, I think, Bournemouth.
3-0 to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I forget his name now. The guy that scored all the penalties last season. Can't remember now. Yeah. I don't know if he's back. I think he's I think he was out last week. So, but yeah, it's I really think Wolves go down.
I think they're one of a couple of teams I have my eye on, as well as the 3 promoted teams that are in bother.
Yeah, I think Sunderland will be all right, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sunderland will be okay. I think Burnley are in trouble.
Burnley are in massive trouble, I agree.
Yeah, Burnley, West Ham.
Yeah, Brentford,
Wolves,
I think.
Even Brentford, yeah, could be in trouble. I don't know if you saw the manager. Did you watch the Brentford game?
I saw some of it on Match of the Day.
Yeah.
Or on the highlights on Sky. I didn't.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how much you watched the manager, but he looked like he was just in headlights the whole time.
Rabbit in headlights. Completely agree.
Yeah,
Completely
he looked like
agree.
he didn't have a bloody clue.
He's out of his depth, Sparks, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean that's another one. They've kind of just taken it as a first appointment, and yeah, I don't think they knew what they had with Thomas Frank, or maybe they did, and they just couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brentford Villa we've got at Brentford. What we're saying with that?
I'm going to go 1-0 Villa. Villa weren't great last week either against Newcastle, but got a point. And as I said, I think Brentford are in serious trouble this year. So I'll just give a nod to Villa, who didn't overly impress me last week either, to be honest.
I thought the game was between the pair of them, the Newcastle and Villa. I thought was absolute. My God, I lost the will to live, honestly.
Yeah, it was a real snooze fest.
Yeah, it was absolutely shocking. In fact, it actually looked like both teams needed a striker.
Yeah.
It looked like both teams were struggling without a striker, but yeah, I expect Villa to get better. Newcastle, we're kind of gonna have to see what happens with Isak, I guess, because yeah, it seems a bit of a mad one.
Yeah.
Incidentally, have you seen who Wolves' new keeper is?
I read that today. I thought it was a spoof when I got it.
No, it's not. It's really not. Martinez has gone to Wolves.
Yeah.
So I can only think
it was a Villa as well, if I understand it correctly. So
say again.
Wolves and Villa, they wouldn't exactly be known for being best mates.
No.
So it's a strange one. Again, as I said, when I saw it, I thought it was a spoof, but seemingly it's true.
Yeah, absolute oddness, and I guess that Villa just needed his wages off the wage bill.
Yeah,
that's all I can think it must be, because it's just mad. I mean, the guy said he wanted to leave anyway. I assume that's probably because he wanted a new contract with a pay increase, and they said piss off.
Yeah.
So
a decent goalkeeper there already as well. Sarr isn't like the worst goalie in the league by any stretch.
No, I quite like him, to be honest.
So unless he's got a move organised, or they're going to sell him in the last few days of the window.
There was talk of him moving last season, wasn't there? But it never seemed to materialise. So maybe that's what's happening, and he's finally getting his move or whatever. But yeah, it just seemed a very odd one to go from Villa to Wolves. Yeah, I mean, not quite as bad as Villa going from Villa to Birmingham, but it's got to be up there. it's got one of the weird ones anyway. But
it is very strange.
Yeah, absolute oddness. But yeah, there you go. But yeah, I think Villa have just edged that as well. I think it'd be 2-1 though. I expect Brentford to score. They've got issues with Vissa, or Wissa, whatever his billing name is, who's kind of twerking for a move to Newcastle, and the whole biasness and whatever of these, whether these things should be happening and whether players should be kind of should be actually refusing to play, or
It's
what's your take on that? Is player power a thing for you, or
as a player, you sign a contract, right? You know exactly what's in that contract when you sign it, right? It's not as if there's hidden, unless you have a really bad agent or lawyer or whoever's looking after your contract. There shouldn't be anything hidden in there, right? You should know exactly what you're signing, what you're committing to. Bar you have a Sheffield Wednesday situation where the club is withholding your wages or not paying you. You've signed that in good faith. The club have offered it to you in good faith. You then have an obligation to fulfill that contract, as far as I'm concerned. If promises have been made off that contract or outside of that contract, they're not owed to you. They're really not. If you want to move, go and negotiate your contract again and get a release clause put in. If you don't have a release clause put in, then you're tied to that contract for however long that contract runs for. If you sign 5, 6, 7 year contract with no release clause, after 2 years, you can't exactly throw your ties out of the pram. It's just you've made a bad decision, or your agent has made a bad decision, or you've been badly advised, but you're beholden to that contract. That's the club hold the power over you for as long as that contract exists. Now, maybe up to the last year, because then obviously you can leave on a free summer. But once you're under contract, you're tied to it. Bar there's skullduggery going on and someone's put something in invisible ink in the contract or something like that, which wouldn't stand up in court anyways. If you brought that to a court and said there's something in invisible ink in my contract, it wouldn't stand up. So you sign a contract in good faith. The club offers it to you in good faith. If you're not happy with your contract, you go and renegotiate it, but once you've signed that contract, I'm afraid you're tied to it for the period that it lasts for. Maybe that's a naive opinion or on my part, but that's just how I feel on it.
Yeah, I mean, my only kind of pushback to that would be that obviously it's okay for clubs to do it when they can't be bothered to keep you anymore. They want to rip your contract up or whatever. So I guess that they then negotiate some kind of payoff that basically says, well, I don't want to keep you to the term, but I'll pay you 70% of your deal or whatever it is. You're free to go and get work elsewhere. So it's a win-win for you.
You don't have to agree to that 70%. You can do what your man Bogart did at Chelsea and just sit on your hole for 3 years and take the money.
For sure.
If you're that way inclined.
And I actually see that happening a lot at Chelsea, to be honest, over the course of what they're doing. Because, I think they'll have a lot more misses than they have hits.
Yeah.
And there will be players that are basically sat on their asses, on their hands, whatever, and they won't be getting a look in, and they're signed to an 8-year contract.
Yeah.
And they can't do a thing about it.
Yeah.
So they'll either, I don't know, they'll either buy the ways out of the contracts, or they'll just be on the scrap heap because their years when they could be advancing, they're actually sat on somebody's bench.
Yeah.
Or exactly. Not even the bench, they're in the stand.
Yeah, in the stand, yeah.
So, I don't think the player power thing is a thing, but then, we can be classed as hypocrites because Gyökeres did it, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
He had a gentleman's agreement, but I don't know whether they actually hold up. If they don't hold up, they obviously don't hold up because we ended up paying more than the release anyway.
Yeah.
And just bringing it down a different avenue. So they obviously don't stand for anything anyway.
No.
But there we go. Burnley, Sunderland.
Oh God, this is for two promoted teams meeting this early in the season. It's at Turf Moor, isn't it? Burnley are at home.
This is, yeah.
Yeah. Burnley against Spurs weren't as terrible as the scoreline suggests. They created not great chances, but decent chances at 1-0 down. If they had taken one of them, they could have got something out of it. But Sunderland were very good against West Ham. I forget what the scorelines were when they met last season. Normally, that's how I'd go off trying to predict a score between the two promoted clubs. I'll go 1-1 because I'm not convinced that I know enough yet about either team to make a stern prediction on this one.
Let me have a look. I'm trying to see what the results were last year. 24-25, isn't it? Nil-nil. So you're probably not far off, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sunderland won 1-0, one of them, and 0-0 was the other one.
Yes, I'll go 1-0. If Burnley can be a bit more clinical in front of goal, they could get something from this game.
Yeah, I'm actually go Sunderland 2-0 because I thought Sunderland looked really good. I think that they've done really well in the transfer window.
Yeah, they definitely have.
I think what Burnley tried to do against Spurs, I think they had to. They're just trying to get back in the game, and the way Spurs played, they thought that they could kind of get back in it rather than kind of holding on to the 1-0 or whatever. So I think Sunderland will not batter them, but I think they'll beat them quite easily, I guess. So yeah, just because I think they've had a really good transfer window as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've covered the Arsenal Leeds game. We said 2-0. We've both gone with 2-0. Are you at the game?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Are you going Coronet?
I shall be. Yeah. I'll be there from about 1.
Did you book a ticket?
1.5 1. Oh, I did. Yeah, but not buy one.
No. But you have to book
a free one. Yeah.
Yeah. Standing room only.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not paying to sit down.
No.
Yeah. Apparently, you can sit down if there's no, if nobody's in there and nobody's reserved seating, you can still sit down. I don't know who's going to police that, but all right. Yeah. I'd like to see them. Exactly how that's going to get policed, but there you go.
Is Michael O'Leary the new owner of the Coronet? Is he?
What's that?
Is Michael O'Leary the new owner of the Coronet? Is he?
I don't know. He is. Well, I don't know why they're doing what they're doing, to be honest, because there you go. As far as I was concerned, they just need to get some more bar staff.
Exactly.
That was the only thing that I kind of thought, but there we go. Sunday's games, the 2:00 games, which are all televised on Sky now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
250 games, if you didn't know, folks.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that the 2:00 games used to be a case of they'd pick the worst one. Watch that.
Yeah.
So, like the Everton Leeds game, they'd have picked that, wouldn't they, last week?
Yeah.
If it had been the Sunday 2:00, you'd been able to watch that one, and Liverpool Bournemouth, you wouldn't be able to watch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So just be ridiculous. So Palace Forest.
Ooh, this will be a feisty one, given all that's gone on between those two clubs this summer. At Selhurst Park, I think I'll go Palace 2-1. Even though they've lost EZE, I think they'll just have too much. It was good and all as far as we're against Brentford, but I think a lot of that is down to Brentford being poor as well. So I just fancy Palace.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 2-1 Forest, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just don't. Yeah, both forward lines have started really well, actually, haven't they? So, I can't actually remember who Forest played last week.
Brentford.
Oh, it's Brentford, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do tip Brentford to be in the mix for going down. 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw. I'm going with that then. On the basis of they look good because it was Brentford.
Yeah.
So then we got Everton Brighton, and I'm not being funny. This sounds like an absolute bore fest for me.
Yeah, you're not alone there. Can we say 0-0?
You can say what you want.
Yeah, I think I probably will go 0-0.
Yeah.
You know, watching,
You know,
I didn't see any of
probably
Brighton.
5-0 either way now. I said that.
Yeah, hopefully 5-5. People are going to end up very entertained.
5-4. We go for 5-4.
Yeah. No, just watching Everton there on Monday, they really have no punch in their attacking half. Now, Grealish didn't start, but I'm not sure he's going to be the difference maker they're hoping for either. Beto isn't up to much. So I can't see that. I don't think they're going to be a team that. We played against Leeds. Now, I don't know if he got injured or went off in that game. But they didn't on Monday. Yeah, it was Monday they played. They didn't really do that, and that made me go, here's a team that might do something this season. They're probably still in the boat of just find 3 teams worse than them, and they'll be happy enough. As they're being kind of for the last 4 or 5 seasons now.
Which, when you see the business that they've done, you kind of think, well, they'd be more attack-minded, but they just didn't seem to bother, did they? It was like...
No, it's like they don't know how to, you know. It's kind of enjoy, and if he doesn't do something magical, we have nothing else going on.
Yeah.
You know, so they, again, Brighton have lost Joe Pedro, who's a big loss for them up front. They've lost Ferguson as well. Now, I know he didn't play much last season, but he probably would have been next in line after Pedro if he had have stayed on the trajectory he was on when he first came into the Brighton team. He looked like he was going to be a 60, 70 million pound striker at that stage. But
well, we were in for him at one point.
Fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. So, I'm going 0-0 because I don't like the attacks of either team, to be honest, at the moment. So, sorry for anyone that's going. You'll be bored stiff. But,
or now we've tempted it, and you will see a cracker, and it will be 5-4. So it's one or the other. We're not sure which one it'll be, but I've said both now, so we're right on both sides.
We're covered.
we predicted both. I'm going to go 1-0 Brighton, just purely because I think Brighton have a bit more in attack. I don't understand why Moyes shut up shop against Leeds. I think he tried to soak up pressure, but then never really spun it into attack. It just didn't. It was a bit odd to me, but unlike Leeds, where they'll actually go and play, and even if they get relegated, they'll try and attack you.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I actually prefer Leeds' approach than Everton's, but I'd be biased because we're playing against you, and I want to be. So I am biased.
Please come out and leave plenty of space.
Yeah, come out and play, and we'll score 6. Yeah, that's the hope anyway.
Yeah.
And then you got Fulham at Man U. So obviously you got Man U who've been looking for their first win of the season.
Yeah.
In their second fixture.
Yeah.
I
would good record of Fulham, I think, as well.
And
Fulham is quite good.
Yeah, they've played them a few times, I think, on the first day as well. So it's they normally do okay, especially at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, don't know what it is. Some teams just seem to have grounds that they manage to get 3 points at a lot. Yeah, I
I
think I'll
think
go
it's a
for
small
United.
pitch.
Yeah,
I think it's actually a small pitch. I think that's why, because it's
yeah,
like narrow channeled,
yeah,
and that's kind of why it's a happy hunting ground, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I think I'll go 2-1 United. Um, just again, I thought they played quite well last week without getting anything against us. So yeah, just 2-1 United.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 2-0 United. Again, I think they did enough to warrant getting something from our game. Albeit that I'm glad that they didn't. But is what it is. Where do you put United this season? I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I didn't say this with Spurs either.
I think United are one of those teams who have a massive range in terms of where they could fall this season.
Yeah,
At their best, and if teams like Newcastle, Villa, Spurs are off it at all, I think they could end up in fifth. But they could equally end up in 12th, 13th, just as easily.
mm,
I think I saw their fixtures. They've got a rotten start to the season. Okay, so they have obviously us out of the way. They've lost that, and they've Fulham and Burnley. That's fine for the international break. But when they come back from the international break, they play Man City, they play Chelsea, and they've Liverpool as well. And I think they play Sunderland and Brentford around then too. So their first 10 games are quite tricky.
do
And
you think though that obviously with their new attacking lineup, do you
yeah,
think that they can be a threat to Chelsea?
yes, yeah, but
I'm just saying.
they need everything to go right for them. You know,
Yeah,
I
I agree
don't
with
think they've much. I don't think they've much wiggle room. You know, in terms of slip or drop in performance. I think
you.
if they have any sort of drop in performance or a fall off in performance, they could easily find themselves scrambling around 9th, 10th, and the season just becomes a nothing season then, where you're just fulfilling fixtures in April and May and not really playing for anything unless you're in the cup competitions. So, um,
Yeah,
and it's one of those. Amarin could come under pressure very early this season. If those early fixtures do not go well, then he will be coming under pressure because United won't suffer. The Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe will not suffer another season where they're scratching around either mid-table or worse. At least I don't think they will.
mm,
They've given him a lot of money this summer as well, between Cunha and Mbuemo and Sesko. They have spent money, and there was talk of spending over 100 million on Baleba. Now, that hasn't happened. Whether they will go for another midfielder, I don't know. But I would say Amarin could be under pressure. As I said, the first few fixtures are quite tricky for him. So,
yeah.
like
There
if
was talk of Wharton as well, but I don't
yeah,
see Palace letting
I
another
think he's a
midfielder
class
go.
player. Yeah, no, they won't sell both him and Eze in the one window. Definitely
Yeah,
not.
and I think probably Wharton might be earmarked for either a Liverpool or a Man City
Yeah,
rather than Man United. To be honest with you,
yeah, yeah,
so yeah,
definitely.
I think that might be where it's destined to go, rather than. I actually think they'll finish in some form of European spot. I don't know which European spot,
Which
but
competition? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, obviously it's a broad spectrum. I don't really think that they go in Champions League spots.
no,
They could probably maybe stretch to the fifth, but
yeah.
again,
That's what I'd be thinking, that they might scrape into fifth.
yeah, absolute,
Either that's their ceiling, though, as far as I'm concerned. This season is
yeah.
fifth.
Yeah, I would say I think I have them I think I have them sixth or seventh, and I have Spurs either seventh or eighth,
Yeah,
and that would probably flipped if they'd got Eze.
yes, yeah, yeah,
I think that the sixth or seventh would have been Spurs, and seventh and eighth would have been Man United.
yeah,
That's what I think anyway. For what it's worth, I mean, I'm not a fan of theirs, so I don't really care. But yeah, I think that the money that they've spent they're pushing and gambling on European qualification in some form whatsoever. Yeah, even if even just to kind of settle the sponsors down a bit, and because they would be with continued kind of out of Europe, they'll be looking at chopping money off deals and stuff. So Monday.
Yes,
Monday.
Yeah.
Super Monday. Let's go with Super Monday. Super
Yeah.
old school Monday.
Yeah.
Newcastle,
Another
Liverpool.
one I expect to be very feisty. Yeah.
This could be red card heaven.
It wouldn't shock me if it was. You know, Joe Linton's going to go around kicking people all day long. That's kind of his job in the team. Yeah. Look, Newcastle, as we said earlier when we discussed Newcastle Villa, it was an absolute snooze fest. Now, Newcastle won't get away with that in front of their home fans at St James's Park. They'll have to come out and try and do something to get the crowd up. Whether that will play into Liverpool hands, we'll see. But from what I saw on the first weekend, again, we don't have a lot to go on. Liverpool should probably shade this, given they've at least some form of attack that will get them goals. Newcastle have nothing going on up front. Nothing, so that's my sense of it, is that Liverpool probably walk away with kind of a 2-1 win here. But yeah, just Newcastle, just without Isak, they've no striker really, because Callum Wilson's gone to West Ham. So I don't like last week they played Gordon up front.
Yeah.
So it's that's nothing really going on up front. If I was them, actually, I'd make a call to PSG and see if they can do some kind of swap deal for Gonzalo Ramos with Isak, to get some form of striker in there, because at the moment, Gordon up front all season will not get them back into the Champions League. If that's their target, him up front all season, they can forget about it, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I don't know what this is, Jay. He's saying Gillette soccer special, but YouTubers guest cover a game. What? I'm very confused.
I may have something to say about that.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, we do need to get you on the show at some point as well, Jay. So if you want to join the Twitter group or the WhatsApp group, just give us a shout. We'll get you in. As well, if you're watching, please make sure you're hitting the like, the subscribe, and comment section. Let us know what your thoughts on anything we've kind of covered. What did you say? You said 2-1 for Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool, yeah.
Ekitike looked good last week, but I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's because Bournemouth were kind of pressing a bit more than.
Bournemouth have lost 3 of their back 4 from last season as well. It's going to be a bedding-in period for them and their goalkeeper. It's going to be a bedding-in period for them.
Though Kirkes looked well off it, didn't he? And obviously Frimpong's out as well. Yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to read something. I was just like, I don't know if I think it'd be a draw, and I don't know if that's bias talking.
Yeah. It's never easy to get at from Newcastle, in fairness.
It's at St James's. I don't think Liverpool were blow away great. I think Bournemouth were okay, and I think that they could if they could have stayed in the game when they went, obviously famous last words, right? If they could have stayed in the game when they went 3-2 down, then they could have held them to a draw as well. But it's almost like they just lay in wait, didn't they? And then and then just hit them with like everything. Basically knowing that Bournemouth can't do anything. So I don't know. It'll either be a Liverpool win or a draw.
Yeah, it's hard to see Newcastle beating them in fairness.
It's hard to see Newcastle winning, I think, but I think that's yeah, it could potentially be a draw. And what's this? But say I host, then we have guests who cover the game. Is this an idea for a show? Is this an idea for a show, Jay? If it is, just drop me a message, mate. Drop me a message. I think that's what you're trying to say. I might be completely misreading that. But yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of trying to kind of finish this one up. But there we go. Yeah, well, obviously it's going to be an interesting week of football. We play Saturday afternoon. I'm not sure I like the Saturday afternoon. I'd prefer a 3:00 game, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
No, agree completely.
Yeah, but then I guess that then they're not going to miss out on putting Leeds on when they think that they play attacking football and could turn Arsenal over. So they're not going to miss out on that chance, are they?
No.
So yeah, hopefully we kind of get the points, and you know, I don't really care what happens actually in the City Spurs one. I guess I'd be okay with the draw, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Newcastle do want to pull the trees up, yeah. Yeah, nice one, man. Nice one. Yeah, thanks for being in here as well. And yeah, make sure you're hitting the like and the share. I appreciate you. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up there. I think we kind of covered everything for the upcoming week. And the hijacking and how it's probably going to affect everyone. So I think we're pretty much good, aren't we, Mark?
I think so. Thanks again for having me on. Much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely welcome. Anytime, my friend. You know that. So yeah, you're in the groups anyway. So just reply if you want to get on anytime. But yeah. Do you want to plug anything? Do you want to plug your Twitter or anything?
No, not particularly.
No, you're good. Okay. Always ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot last week, so I got told off. So maybe make up for it this week. So yeah, great to have you on again, Mark. And we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Probably see you Saturday.
You will see me Saturday. I was talking on channel, but yeah, we can. We definitely. If you're in the Coronet, I will definitely be there. So absolutely. So yes. But yeah, thanks for joining, people. Make sure you're hitting the like, subscribe, comments, share the video out when I put the post out, and drop any comments in the section below. And this is 40 Corner. I've been Sparks. That's Mark, and we'll see you next time. Good night.